On your mark. Get set. Go!
These two teams are in the dark trying to catch ping pong balls by clashing their symbols. Whoever catches the ball first will symbolize silliness with $20 and control of the show that never clashes with good taste. Yes, it's Double Dare.
It's Double Dare. There's my childhood right there. Nickelodeon. That is, of course, a clip. Welcome back, everybody. That's a clip from the Nickelodeon legendary show Double Dare. This show aired in the late 80s and early 90s and was popular with families, me. It took a few years, but the show is finally making a comeback because, well, that's what we do now. And it's going to premiere next week on Nickelodeon. Here to talk about the Double Dare reboot, I love that I'm getting ready to talk to this man, the original host, the one and only Marc Summers, everybody. Hello, Marc.
Good morning, Jason. How are you? Wow, good crowd. We love it.
Marc, was there a moment, either in the original run, post-run, was there a moment that you knew that this was more than just a basic cable game show, that it was kind of woven into pop culture?
Yeah, I agree. Yes, I did know that. We had a great crew. Our exec producers, Mike Klinghoffer, and our head writer, Alan Silverberg, and Dana Calderwood, who was our director. We just kind of felt there was a little magic. It was like being in a college dorm. We were all playing TV. Back in the day, Nickelodeon was busy trying to figure out what the network was, and they let us do whatever we wanted. And we were doing it on two levels. We were doing humor for moms and dads, and they would stop me in the street and say, I watch it every day for that one thing you do for us. And then the kids would laugh, even though they didn't know what I was doing. I was back doing, this is how long ago the show was. I was doing Ed Sullivan impressions and impressions of Paul Lynde, and they just thought I was some goofy guy. And for whatever reason, the format worked, and here we are 32 years later doing it again.
And Marc, let me tell you, we're going to send you a $100 bill for the Paul Lynde reference. Thank you very much. I love that. I love it. All of us of a certain age. Okay, so as I said a few minutes ago, it's reboot fever. How did you feel when you were first approached about doing a reboot?
Well, I was the one who's instigated this whole thing. For the last 10 years, I've been poking Nickelodeon saying, let's bring it back, let's bring it back. It's not time, it's not time, it's not time. And I think, they first made the announcement of Will and Grace, and then they saw Match Game came back, and Pyramid came back. And a couple of months ago, I woke up, and on the email at 6:45 was call us. And I made a lovely phone call to the folks at Nick, and they said, hey, let's do it again. And here we are, a new host, Liza Koshy, who is a YouTube star, 22 years old. She'll be holding down the fort for the most part, but I'm there as the announcer and working on physical challenges. And you'll see me pop in, from time to time doing the course and things such as that. So it's just so much fun to come back and do this.
What is it? I mean, like you said, it was lightning in a bottle. It was kind of a dorm room. But Marc, if you could, it's lightning in a bottle, but if you could come up with the recipe, what was it about this show that made it popular then for people like me? Because I remember, our whole neighborhood, people wanted to get cable just to get it. What is it that makes this show so special?
Nickelodeon was very smart in that they did research and found out that kids were watching game shows vicariously through their parents, Price is Right, things like that, but didn't have their own show. And so there was a game being played on the playground back in the day called Truth or Dare. And so they took Truth or Dare and added little green slime and gave prizes. And it was the perfect, melding of ideas. And UHF TV, and nobody even remembers what that is, used to be showing reruns of different strokes and facts of life. And all of a sudden, kids would watch Double Dare, and they'd go to the playground and say, we watched these people jump into this tank filled with 4,000 pounds of baked beans. And they go, well, what is that? And then you would go to other people's homes until the parents would actually buy cable for their kids. And it just was providing an opportunity for them to get messy and get rewarded in the process. Because as a kid, you're always told to stay neat and clean and keep your room neat and clean. And now we were giving kids prizes and money for getting messy.
And that's a universal, I think that's a universal, this is a woo-woo term, but a universal truth for kids. Because I was going to ask you, generationally, what are you noticing the reaction, because you're there on set, what are the new generation of kids, how are they reacting to even the taping of these episodes?
Well, it's interesting. When we do the family shows, the parents just gush because, like you're saying, you grew up watching the episodes, and there I was hosting it, and I didn't think I was ever going to get to meet you or be here, so that's cool. And then the kids have no idea who I am, but they know who Liza Koshy is because they watch her on YouTube. So from that perspective, we're crossing over a couple of generations. The most interesting thing to me has been on the questions. We have to write these in a totally different way because of the internet and because of Siri. You know, hey, what's the capital of Indiana? Hey, Siri, what's the capital? And Siri tells you, as opposed to things staying in people's minds.
Yeah.
And so it's been a little more difficult as far as getting people to answer the questions.
Well, I just want to say thank you for being a part of my childhood. You're part of the fabric of my growing up, which was spectacular. So, and on behalf of a lot of kids of the 80s, thank you, Marc Summers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason, and I'm glad you're working in this industry and doing a great job.
Thank you. Double Dare returns to Nickelodeon Monday at 7 Central. I'm not kidding. We have to go, but I'm not kidding. I love, I reference it a lot so you guys can tell. I'm very proud. I'm happy that I was born in this generation. I love being a kid of the 80s. And you would run home from school to watch that man. And, oops, someone dropped something. And to watch He-Man. So the poor guy just lost his wallet. Sir, you're never getting that back. You're never getting that back. Brad, the engineer's already over there. Still ahead, everybody. One of the funniest people in the business will join us in studio. The great Louis Anderson is here. Next. Stay with us, everybody. Back in a moment.